channel, Outlaw Chop Shop. This is the Naked Truth podcast. I want to tell a story about a time when I was a teenager. My friend, a couple friends of mine, we're not friends anymore. I haven't seen them in years. Don't really know whatever happened to some of these fellas. But we lived in a real small community, farm community. There was a granary in the town. They had fuel tanks, gas, diesel, all that. We'd been stealing their gas for quite some time. And my friend and I went there one night, filled his car up, left the scene, headed for the next town over. Well, we didn't make it more than a couple miles out of town before the car dies. I thought, well, that's weird. It acts like it's out of gas. I get out and get to poking around and realize that business, they outsmarted us. They took the gasoline and switched it with diesel. I don't know if you know what happens when you put diesel in a gasoline engine, but it doesn't run that well for very long. And so we're scrambling because his car is full of illegal goods, stolen property. We just weren't the most upstanding citizens when we were teenagers. Did a lot of stupid stuff. So we're trying to get this car running, and I'm rigging up a fuel tank, a gas tank. I've got some gas from a farmer. Middle of the night, walk to the house, give him some bullshit story about being out of gas, and I start to rigging up the fuel pump to pull the gas out of the gas can and get us to the next town so we can figure out a better idea. And right about then, the police show up. What's the problem here, fellas? Oh, our car's broke down. Oh, and we're just covered in diesel and gasoline by this point because we're dumb kids and we're out there trying to work on this car along the side of this country road with no tools essentially and no clue really either, because if we had a clue we would have smelled the diesel and not pumped it in the tank to begin with. But I wasn't operating the pump. I was in the car. I'm just kind of being a lookout, driver, whatever. Well, the police were very kind, and they said, well, tell you what, you guys just live up the road here, we'll give you a ride. You guys come get the car tomorrow or later on. So we pile in the car, and police car, covered in stolen diesel all over our clothes, all over us. We just reek of it. Good thing it was no smoking allowed in the car, because we probably would have exploded the dang thing. But the cop gives us a ride home to my house. My buddy lived in a bigger city. He was kind of from that area, but he was back and forth into different criminal activity all the time, and kind of, hate to say it, but maybe a bad influence on me. Well, the car's full of stolen goods, and the police can connect us to it now. And they end up towing the car, and they get to snooping around and realize that there's some things sitting in plain view that fit the description of some items that may have been stolen recently. Well, my buddy, he decides to go ahead and claim those items, and he says, I don't have anything to do with it. I didn't know anything about it. Didn't know anything about the gas, none of that. And I somehow. They never even asked me about anything. I didn't even know anything about it. But my buddy ended up doing quite a bit of prison time over that. And I always thought to myself, you know, that's the definition of not ratting a brother out. Because nobody would have gained anything. He would have still done some time. I would have done time. The stolen items were already located. He was already caught. There was no sense in bringing another party into it and implicating me. So I learned at an early age that you don't rat out your friends. I mean, and you don't do dumb stuff that you aren't willing to face the consequences for. So that young man did quite a bit of prison time for that, and got out and just kind of led the same life. But just wanted to share that story of not being a rat.